Today we're going to attempt to install some better wiring for the two fence street lights in the backyard. We have to pass two wires into the house. They're going to be 14-3 UF wirings. And I want to try to reuse this hole that's already here in the side of the wall here for the refrigerant lines and the electrical and the drain for the heat pump. There is some caulking here which we'll have to replace, but I'm wondering if I can just kind of remove this caulking and then just stick the wires through and put some caulking back. This should probably be redone anyways because chances are it wasn't done very well. Okay, I think that was all we needed to do. As I figured, it wasn't done very well. This piece of wire should actually be replaced. This is starting to crack up here just from the sun exposure. That wire is supposed to be allegedly sunlight resistant, but the sun will wreck everything in enough time. All right, let's go take a look from the inside to see if we can see some light coming through. Or it might not be a straight shot, I don't know. Might be like on an angle or something. Here's what it looks like from the inside. I can in fact see some light coming through. So we're ready to just pass the wires through and put some new caulking back in place. I was expecting to have to take the printer down and move everything out of the way, but this is surprisingly going to be fairly simple. I just recently discovered you can start and stop the recording using these microphones, a button on the microphone, which is super handy. Here's the wire that we're going to be using. It is a spool of 250 feet of 14-3. I have two of these spools on hand, as well as one spool of 12-3. There's one run that's particularly long, which I'll do in the 12-3. These two runs aren't that long, so we'll do it in the 14. These lights aren't drawing that much power anyways. They're only 100 watts a piece, so there's not going to be much voltage drop. Eventually, what we'll do is we'll put a box on the side of the house similar to that, and then I'll put a conduit that goes down to the ground, and we'll do it properly. But for now, we're just going to do it improperly and just kind of have the wire going down the side of the house just to get rid of this extension cord here, because this is not proper and we're going to need that for Christmas time anyways. And plus, if I have this, I'll be able to turn the lights on and off from inside the house, which is nice, as opposed to plugging it in and leaving the door open and running an extension cord into the house. That's not very practical, especially now that it's getting cooler out at night. This wire is kind of particular about how you handle it. It's important to not put any kinks or bends in it, because it'll bend and it'll kink up very quickly, very easily. You got to unfold it kind of carefully and don't make any sharp movements with it. You want to keep it nice and straight. I think what I'll probably do is pass it into the house for the to start, and then I'll cut it once it's outside and I can see how much we need. I see it just kinked here. Now when I try to bury this, it's going to be all wonky. It's one of the other reasons why I prefer BX because it doesn't do that. People say, oh, the Romex is so much easier to work with. I don't think so, because the Romex does this kinky stuff too. Whereas the BX, you can do whatever you want with it and it's just fine. I don't really want the whole thing to come undone. That's not going to be helpful. Starting to kink up here. Not good. All right, I think we got all the turns out of it now. Well, that was easy enough. Hopefully there's enough room for two to fit in there. I think there is. It seems like a pretty loose fit. Now here's where the wire is coming in. Let's see if we can get a little more light on the subject here. There we go. It went into the heat pump. All right, so we'll just pull through. Trying to think of how much we want. What we're going to do is we're going to take the wire and we'll put a box up here on the ceiling and we'll convert it to BX, and then I'll route the BX through to the upstairs where we're going to have these switches for this. So maybe what we'll do is I want to use this wire as sparingly as possible because we're going to need a lot of it. Maybe I'll put the box right there. So we'll just have like that much of it coming in. And it can just go up in there. All right, I think we'll do that. We'll just leave it like this. We'll have this much of it here. Okay, so now we'll run this down to the ground and see how much we need to get over to the light. This is getting extremely kinked up. That's exactly what I did not want to happen. Rats. See how it's not laying flat now? It's going to be more difficult to get it in the ground nicely. Okay, and then over here, I think that we'll pass it under the fence up to there, kind of like that, and then up into the pole. So we should be able to cut it here. Okay, so that's the first wire. Now we got to do another one. Shouldn't say anything yet, but this is going a lot easier than I was expecting. I'm going to try to roll this out. Get it a little bit flatter this time. This is not uncoiling as well as I would have liked. Oh, here we go with that again. Oh yeah, there's plenty of space here for this second wire. Great. Okay, so now what I can do in the meantime, until I get the correct wiring run, I can just put some plugs on there and plug it in, or even better, I can just stick the wires into the outlet. See how much straighter that second run is? I should have unraveled both of them like, oh gosh. It's very dry today. I should have unraveled both of them like that. I'm going to have to go get a drink of water in a minute. Okay, we'll cut it here before it kinks up too much. Ow, that was stupid. I got this to help us with the installation of the wire into the ground. This is a trencher. No, this is not going to dig a 2-foot trench, but it'll... Stupid squirrel on near my propane tank. This will dig a deep enough trench to keep the wire safe in the yard. And we can probably use this in the summertime or the springtime for edging the landscaping. Or it'll turn out to be a piece of junk and we can't use it for either task. We'll find out momentarily. I generally have pretty good results with Black+Decker. Got a lot of equipment from that brand over the years, some of it newer, and I've generally always been satisfied with it. Looks like it should be fairly simple to assemble. This is the Black+Decker LE750 or EH1000 edger. I'm not sure which one it actually is. Hopefully it says it on here somewhere. I believe that the height is adjustable for a pretty different, quite a few inches of difference in height. For the most part, I think we'll probably just use it as deep as it goes. Well, I can't fathom this digs more than an inch or two down. It says forward for trenching, backwards for edging. What? Oh, I see. Oh, it's up, down, not forward and back. So up for trenching, which is what we're going to do, and down for edging. Huh. Okay. And it looks like we have the depth over here. That's on the lowest setting. Well, this looks fairly straightforward. Let's see if there's anything noteworthy inside the document. Don't use in the rain, okay? We'll use it in the sun. Stay alert. And that's a given. Should be anyways. Okay. Trenching. Well, it seems simple enough. Everything's dangerous and requires warnings. 2-year warranty. Of course, who knows how good the warranty service actually is, but I always find it notable when it's more than like 90 days or something generic. Yeah, it's all plastic, but it's fairly solid plastic at least. There's some sticky tape, which is just going to stay there because it's wrapped around the wire. More of the sticky tape. There's like a plastic sheathing here that goes over where the bolt passes through. That's kind of nice. And there's a lot of extra slack here, which is making the assembly a little bit difficult because this does not want to go in there all the way. That's kind of dumb. I don't really want to flex it that much, but I have to. I need to make up like several inches of slack here. Or I need to get rid of several inches of slack, rather. I'm gonna have to put a bend in here and push it up like that. I don't like that, but no other way to do it is. Now hopefully the bolt will still fit through there with all that wire in the way. Well, if that's the worst we can say about the assembly process, that's not too bad. All right, I think that it is ready for the operation. We'll just use the extension that's out there because we can bring that in after this task anyways. I think we're going to dismantle this windmill and put that away today as well. Make this area look a little less junky. There's a decent sized rock here. There's a rock here, I'm not sure how big it is. We might have to dig this portion manually just to see. Or we can try to go up a little bit closer. Maybe go around here. Actually, that's probably better. Go as close to the building as possible. This way, when we add the landscaping, there's less likelihood of the wire being in the way. It's not grounded. Well, it's a good thing I didn't clean the heat pump yet. That would have just made a total mess of the coil. You see how dry it is. This is ridiculous. Wow, it is so dry this year. I've heard this is the driest summer on record. Just a cloud of dust from doing that. Unbelievable. All right, so that seemed to work pretty good. Now the question is, will the wires just kind of nicely fit in there or not? It's not as deep as I was hoping it would be. But it'll get us through the winter until we do something better. A lot of the dirt is like still in there. Maybe we'll have to blow it out with the leaf blower and make even more dust. I, for some reason, thought on the website that it said it dug a 7-inch trench. And I'm guessing I was thinking of the blade measurement, perhaps is 7 inches. I don't know. This is good enough for a temporary, which is all that we need. Should have passed it through that clip as well. I didn't think about that. Yeah, this will work for now. See if we can dig it out a little bit more. Well, it's not great, but it's an improvement, and we'll make it better later on. This is coming apart very easily because I had dug this up recently to put the drain pipe in. And I don't need comments in the commentary box telling me it's not deep enough. I know it's not deep enough. It's supposed to be like 18-inch deep or something. It'll get us by for the winter. That's what it needs to do. Quite frankly, we might find over time that the ground just kind of absorbs the wire and it gets a little deeper. That's what I noticed with the stuff in the back. The first ones I put, I just kind of laid them on top of the ground and the earth reclaimed it. Probably have to add more dirt the first time it rains, whenever that might be. This is good potting soil, but it's too root bound to reuse for plants. You can see how thick the roots are in that one. Not going to get much to grow in that. So we'll use it for this, and maybe we'll get some grass to grow in it. All right, not solved correctly, but greatly improved. And we'll have to come back later and wire it up over there. But I'm getting hungry. So I think we're going to take a break for lunch. We'll clean up some of this equipment and then we'll break for lunch. I'm going to make some fish. We got to clean the heat pump too in the next couple days. I got a big piece of fish from Aldi's. This will probably make 4 or 5 meals. But it's pretty economical for, with that in mind, it's to cost about $18. You probably can get 1, 2, I get 4 meals out of this. Oh, it's about 3, it's like $4 and change. It's not bad. And we'll also have some potatoes with it. The potatoes take a long time to cook, so we're gonna start with those. And then we'll put the fish in afterwards. Yeah, they're a little dirty. It's a root food. Oh well. Yes, we're going to eat the remaining dirt on the potatoes. Everything will be just fine. Kind of make some little fries here, but these are clean because they're not going to be fried. They're just going to be baked. A little bit of olive oil. Don't look too good. We'll cut that part out. But we'll keep the dirt. The dirt is good for your immune system. I gotta get a kitchen brush to do this. Just kind of paint them all with the oil. Come out a little more even than this. This is kind of lousy. Hey, I know we put a little bit of salt on there. And this will go in the oven for a long time. Now we gotta put it on the bottom, because then I'll put the fish on top. I wonder if I could put one of those. Oh, that's cool. Could I put one of these in there as well? Nah, we'll have to do it differently. That's fine. Okay, so we'll put those in there, and we're gonna put that for a long time. We're gonna put it for like 370, maybe 372, and we're gonna put it for about 25 minutes, and then we'll flip it and put it on the other side again for about 25 minutes. Oh, why is it all gritty on there? Okay. So we're going to prepare 4 pieces of the fish. 3 of them we'll save for the next couple of days, and 1 of which we'll have today. And none of which we'll have yesterday because that's impossible. This knife is not knifing. Okay, this is the piece we'll have today. You know what actually works better for this is scissors. Kitchen scissors cut fish scales very easily. This is the piece we'll have tomorrow. This is the piece we'll have on Saturday. And this is the piece we'll have on Sunday. And on Monday we'll have something else. A couple of scales on the counter, we'll cancel those out. Try to rinse this out a little bit before it sits in the trash, otherwise the trash gets all grungy and gross. don't put a lot of food in the trash because we have the sewer here. So sometimes the trash don't go out for weeks. Now this probably could be, it says no recyclable. It says how to recycle.info and it says don't recycle it. Okay, I don't see why we couldn't, but probably just because of the plastic film. I bet if we took the plastic film off, it could be the recycled. Okay, yeah, I don't see why that can't be recycled. It is the plastic film we probably don't want to be recycled. Alright, we'll put this in the blue bin. And if they say it's not recyclable, that's just ridiculous. What I'll probably do with these pieces of fish later tonight is I will cook them about 3/4 of the way through. This way they last a little bit longer, and when we go to reheat them, they don't get overdone. See, one more scale on that piece. Okay, I'll go get a new towel now. I spilled water all over the floor. That's great. Oh yeah, floor's nice and wet now. Okay, so now we're gonna put the fish into some aluminum foil so that we can cook it simultaneously along with the potatoes. I like to put this on the fish. And this will put in about a half hour, or no, probably less than that, about 20 minutes, when we turn the potatoes for the first time. And this way everything will come out and be ready at about the same time. And then for now, just cover these up, and when it gets cooler tonight, temperature's already dropping a bit, when it gets cooler tonight and I want some heat in the house, put on the oven and heat these up. I think we'll also have a piece of the corn with it also. This stringy stuff is not advisable to go down through the plumbing. I have put it down there many times before a plumber told me that. I never had any problems. But just to avoid an expensive, unnecessary situation, I will take the stringy stuff off and throw it outside. A little couple pieces here and there I don't think is a problem. Like I said, I've put the whole thing in there many times with no issue. See, this doesn't look too good. This kind of messed up there. Hopefully it tastes okay. Sometimes that can be from rough handling, or sometimes because it's boiling. It don't taste spoiled at all. It's got to just be from mishandling. While the fish is waiting to be cooked and the potatoes cook, we'll empty the dishwasher. I want this pot for the corn. This we're not going to put on for a long time. This only takes a few minutes. Now this is not a gas stove, so it does take some time for the water to boil. And a gas stove could boil that pan in probably less than a minute. But we don't have that around here, unfortunately. We'll use this bowl for the fish. I'm going to put that on top of the toaster. And we'll use a small plate for the potatoes. have a cleaning error here with the pot. We'll have to clean the rest out with a steel wool, I guess. I'll reload that after lunch. Okay, while the potatoes finish up, I'm gonna take a quick break to edit some videos. Actually, we can just turn them now. It's only got a few minutes left. This way that gets into this part of the video. They're sticking a lot more than is ideal. I don't usually have this problem. That's annoying. I guess I didn't put enough oil underneath the potatoes. Oh, this stinks. These are all screwed up now. I hate when this happens. It's not as bad in the back. Okay, well that's kind of unfortunate, but they'll still be delicious, I hope. All right, now we'll put in the fish. We'll turn this down a little bit because the fish will get burnt. I want to cover the top of that too, just because it's going to be so close to the element. Yeah, we'll give that about 30 minutes. The fish is taking a very long time to cook. I think that it's taking longer because it's covered. I don't normally cover it. So I've uncovered it. And we'll just have the fries first. And I'm not going to be able to show a full picture of the whole meal together because it's not ready all at the same time. And the camera is just about out of charge. So I've got to take a break from filming to charge it up, and then come back and look at some more things this afternoon. It's nighttime now. I did a lot of work between the previous clip and now. I just needed to get everything done because it was getting cold out. I didn't want to work outside anymore. So I ran a total of 4 new wires today. One of which we saw earlier, which was the one to the streetlights on the fence. That is the east side fence lights. So we got to caulk up that hole still. We're going to do that tonight. And then I also ran 3 new wires out to the back by the water. What's normally the water, but it's dried up. So we'll have, these are 3 pieces of 14-3. So we have one which will feed the west side street lights individually on the fence, those 2. One will feed the uplighting, and then one will feed the original street light that I put out there. One will feed low voltage landscape lights, which have yet to be installed. And then another will be a backup for expansion. And then that existing outlet that's there, the 14.2, this one is going to just be turned into an outlet that can just be used outside for whatever various purposes. Christmas time, plug in a computer, plug in leaf apparatus, whatever. So I don't know what the heck happened here with the slack on the wires. I had wanted about this much, and I planned to have about this much, and I got this much on this one and then hardly any on the other 2. I don't know why. It was all the same when I started out, but that's all we need. It's not a problem. I just need to be able to bring this up into a box up there, and then that's fine. So I'm actually going to go ahead and trim this other one just so we don't have all this ridiculous wire here. Just see, just cut this back to, these cutters stink. Just cut it back to where it's good, and be done with that for now. The power of the right tool. I'll cut this back to here. So we don't have much 14.2 left. I don't know where it all went. I thought I had a significant amount of it on hand, like a couple 100 feet of it. And the spool of 250 that I have is just about empty, which is a problem. And then I have a whole unused spool of 12.3, which I don't even remember why I bought that, what I was going to do with it. I'll probably just keep that on hand because at some point it might become useful. I'm always running new wires around. So I wish I didn't spend the money on that when I bought it, because I could use the money now, but we'll just keep that as extra. And then I have probably about maybe 75 feet left of the 14.3, which is okay. That's more than I would have, again, like to spent on the wire, but because the different lengths were needed, it's not one contiguous run. I made sure I bought enough to the point where if I had to chop it in a couple different lengths, it would work, and it did. It worked, and there's enough. And again, I might use that, for something else. But the problem is now is I need more 14.2 to complete this project, and I don't want to just waste 14.3 to complete it, because that's dumb if I want to use it for something else in the future. So I got to buy more 14.2. That is the cheapest type of the wire that we're using, but it's still not cheap in general. So, but anyways, that's that. That's a different problem. So this is great. This is completed now. The difficult part, anyways, is completed. Getting this in the ground and getting it through the wall here. I'm ecstatic that all 4 of those wires fit in that hole. I didn't think they were going to. And for whatever reason, I remember this when I put the original wire in. That was a very difficult hole to drill because I think there's 4 pieces of wood there, and it was just really difficult to get through all 4 for some reason. So I was dreading having to drill through there again and make a new hole or a second hole, and we didn't have to do that. So that's great. So now let's get this caulked up. We'll caulk up this hole, and we'll caulk up the other hole by where the heat pump is. Let's see what kind of caulking we have that we can use. I want to use something that's open. So we have this, which is waterproof kitchen and bath silicone, indoor and outdoor. I think this is probably the best thing to use. Or we have this, which is mold free. This is for the shower. We're not going to use that. We use this. This makes the most sense. Got to do something better with this draw. This is ludicrous. There are so many tools in there. Okay. Yes, we are 100% going to reuse that and the piece of tape. All right, hopefully this is still the working. That's pretty hard. No, not good. Hopefully it's just the clogged in the tip. Otherwise, I don't have anything that I can use to fix this. I'll just try to stick a nail or something in here. That's hopefully all it is. It's just clogged on the end. That's not promising. Oh, there we go. It's coming out a bit too slowly for this task, but it looks like there is some in there at least. Oh, it expires this month. No, actually it expired in January. Oh well. It's still not coming out properly. I bet there's a piece of it stuck in there that's thick. Yep, see right now that's what we're dealing with. We're trying to get the... Whoa, there it goes. Okay. There was a solidified piece in there that we had to push out. Now it'll work. This is what the problem was. See, there was this piece of hardened silicone in there, which I think is kind of cool, so we're going to keep that for some psychotic reason. We'll cancel this out because it's not very interesting. Clean off this nail for the next time. All right, let's go. Oh, jeez. Let's get this taken care of before some bugs or something come in the house, or just cold air. That's another thing we're up against now. It's, what is it, 40 something? Yeah, 50 degrees, almost 49. All right, here we go. This must be under some residual pressure because it keeps coming out for no reason. Oh yeah, this is working great here. It's working enough to get the job done, and that's all that matters. I'm sure whatever we do here is going to be better than the way it was originally, because whoever put this in, yeah. A lot of things in this house prior to me were not done correctly. All right, this should be good. I've never noticed an issue here before, so I'm not going to go crazy with trying to add extra all over the place, but I'm going to try to seal some of these gaps I see on the bottom. And then maybe I should put a little bit under here as well, just to make sure it really gets a good seal on that. All right, we're going to go with that. Doesn't look very good, but it should work good. This is fitting so tight here, I'm not sure that there's even anything to really caulk. No, there's not really. Try to put some, actually no, it doesn't matter, because there's a gap in between there where stupid bugs can get in there, so there's no point in caulking it on the outside. Do it from the inside. This is probably just going to make a mess and not be very effective, but I think we should do it, because I don't want to have any gaps in this room. I don't want to have any gaps in any part of the house, but this is an obvious one that we can shut. So I'm going to push the wires over to the right. I'll try to force some caulk in there. Then I'll move them over to the left and try to force the caulk into the left side. Hopefully you can see what we're doing. If not, well, it's not super interesting anyways. Okay, so we got some caulk on the left side. A little bit in the top. Not really much to close on the top. I'll push all the wires over to the left. Stick a bunch in the right. And that's really all that we can do with this. Okay, I think we're going to leave it at that. Should be a pretty much completely airtight and bug-tight gap. Don't want any cold winter breeze in. Shouldn't let any unwanted bugs in. All right, good enough. Yeah, we even still have some more caulk to use next time. I don't think there's much left in here at this point, but Why cancel out caulk? If you have a small job that this becomes good for. Well, it made a slight mess inside there. Sometimes that happens. Alright, we'll have to clean that apparatus out. Okay, all sealed up for next usage. Let's see if we can clean this up without making more of a mess. Well, we just made a little bit more of a mess. Alright, that's good enough. Now I gotta clean up the tools. Yeah, it's getting pretty cold out here. It's a little bit too cold for me now. I'm definitely ready to start working inside instead. Actually, I'm pretty much done working for the day. It's getting tired, and it's time to rest and then go to sleep. I'm just haphazardly throwing everything in the garage, and then we'll sort it out in a few minutes. Here's all the wire that's left. Oh, it's already unplugged. Extension cord reels are such a great thing. I think that's everything. I didn't get this windmill brought in today, but I got that cord out of the way. It already looks so much better not having that cord there. I got the windmill broken down tomorrow maybe. As far as this trencher thing goes, it worked. It works the way it's supposed to. It just wasn't particularly helpful to me because, well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one is the cutting depth is not deep enough, which I guess is more of a user error because I misread the specifications. So that's one part of the problem. And then the other part of the problem is that the width of the trench it cuts is too small to even fit a wire in. One of the things that it mentioned on the product advertisement page was that it can be used for installing landscape lights. And I don't even think that the path is wide enough for one single landscape light wire, let alone what I was using, because landscape wire, it's got pretty thick insulation on it. It's it's usually only like 16, 18 gauge, but it's thick. So it's not a particularly small piece of wire. So is that thing really worth the storage space? I don't know. Maybe I'll use it in the spring to re-edge the landscaping, and if it does a good job with that, then maybe it is, but for this task it wasn't very helpful. I can't find the shovel that I used earlier today. Couldn't find it before, and it hasn't turned up yet. I'll go take a quick look outside and see if I left it outside somewhere. This is another time where it's very practical to have all these street lights. Now I can do whatever I want to do in the yard after dark. No, I don't see the shovel, and I don't think it's a lighting problem, although I will check back again in the morning. Where the heck is the stinking shovel? I don't think it'd be over here because I had to use a different shovel when I was working over here because I couldn't find it the other time either. No, I don't see it over here. Huh. I don't know where that little shovel is. Alright, well, the little shovel is gone. It wasn't a particularly good one, but it still worked. I'd like to know where it is. I don't think I put it away. I don't see it in here. And this one's better, but it's a different type. The other one certainly has a use case. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find that shovel. That's dumb. And this is dumb too. I need to do something else with that draw. This extension cord is a touch wet. I guess the dew came on. It did get pretty cold. It went down from like 75 to 73 was the high today. 73 to 50. Alright, so tomorrow what we're going to do is we will need to determine which of these wires is which on the other end. So I guess probably the easiest way to do that is just to put power to them and take the non-contact voltage detector outside and see which ones are live, and then we'll start hooking it up accordingly. Eventually, the end goal is to have a bunch of switches upstairs that will control each of these lighting sections individually from the kitchen closet. But that is probably going to be done in the lull of winter. I got to move a lot of air conditioners around to get to that. It's actually a fairly simple task electrically, but it's a lot of movement to get those wires run. So that might be done later on. But for now, we'll just get it so it's functional. Same thing with the wiring going into the studio area. We'll get that functional. This way we can run all the street lights. And then I can take in all those extension cords, which look bad and shouldn't be outside all the time anyways.